Greetings and welcome to Pop's Collection. I'm Ron Tweedy, joining me is Pops, and today we're going to be talking about episode 4 of Ms. Marvel, right?
That is correct. Hello, everybody. Scene Red
Right.
was the name of the episode, which is kind of interesting. We left off at the last episode that we got a vision from, what was her name? Najma, touching the bangle with Kamala and seeing a train.
Yep.
And we got the thing that her Nani, which is Sana, her mom's mom, her grandmother.
Yep.
She saw the vision too, said, "Hey, you guys need to come."
Mm-hmm.
And so we get to see another country.
Yep.
Kind of interesting. It kind of looked like, it almost looked like a vision of a big city like New York or something. So I'm wondering if Karachi is that in that area, if that's what it is, like a big tourist town or what have you. I'm not really sure. I also got the impression that Nani was loaded.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Yeah, I mean, she got this big, 3-4 story house, whatever it was,
Yeah.
Because if I'm not mistaken, it's kind of a mostly poor area over there. So interesting that because we're going to, in this episode, we get more dynamics between grandmother and mother and grandmother and granddaughter. We get some relationships kind of changed out a little bit here. I felt that Karachi seemed to be a real colorful place. What about you?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely interesting, the different cultures that we get to see. I guess you could say the same thing about New York, where you have that you have the areas that are much better off than other areas in New York. So I imagine, I guess every big city has that.
Yeah.
Because we did get into the relatively poor section of town on there.
Sure.
And I kind of thought it was interesting because you know me, I love trains. So it was kind of interesting to see the train station there. It seemed like they had part of it cordoned off.
Yeah, they're doing construction or something.
Yes. And I guess they didn't want anybody messing around there. I guess maybe they have issues with, people doing damage or, graffiti or what have you.
Well, it's more of a safety thing. You don't want people messing around a construction site.
Well, that is true, but they did mention there was the big sign that says, "Hey, we're under observation," or "We're watching you," or something like that. If I can't remember the exact words, but told me that there shouldn't be any problem with anybody going past there. They're letting them know, "Hey, we're watching you. You go past this thing, and we're going to catch you." So I thought it was kind of interesting. I like the old station. It kind of reminded me of in the early 70s. There used to be the Florida East Coast Railroad, and they had passenger facilities where people caught the train there before it became Amtrak. And I actually remember going to a train station that looked rather similar to that one. So it kind of was a nostalgic moment for me when I got to there.
Okay.
So we get to meet more characters. The young couple that was showing Kamala around. Who were they?
I don't think there was a couple. I think they were her cousins.
Just both of them were cousins, you think?
I assume so.
Okay, I mean, they weren't a couple like boyfriend and girlfriend, you don't think?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I wasn't sure how that was going to go, but uh, we did get this conversation between Kamala and Nani about the bangle that was trying to tell her something through the train station.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get this part of the story. She also tells her that she is a jinn.
Right.
And she kind of freaks out about that. But I guess we learned there's more than one type of jinn, so, or I guess they don't all have to be bad.
Yeah.
But I thought that this episode kind of also was pretty intense. We had some more fighting in this.
Yep.
Some good choreographed fight scenes, I thought.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that part of it. And we meet another character, Kareem,
mm-hmm.
who is part of a group called the Red Dagger.
Right.
So I'm guessing that's why we're seeing red. Just a guess. I don't know for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we have a fight with them in Kareem and Kamala at the train station. And it kind of, he thinks that she's a clandestine or a clandestine.
Well, she is.
Sure. But he thinks she's the bad one.
Right.
And you think she's bad, and then you kind of, she says, no, I'm not. So you're going to take her to your hideout. I don't know. But they do go to the hideout, and we meet the head. His name was Waleed, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Or something like that.
You got it.
Yeah. And he kind of like shows her what's going on between the dimension of Noor. Now, I thought that was pretty good CG there, and we kind of get Najma's mission, or what she wants to do. She wants all of Earth to be Noor. She wants to bring that dimension over to us, I think.
Yeah, well, it's like a merging of the two realms, essentially.
Right, but if that happens, it's not good for us as Earthlings or humans, right?
Right. Yep.
So how faithful do you think that vision, that their story they're telling, is true to the comics?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. So the clandestines actually are they come from the comics pretty far back. I think it's the 70s or 80s or something like that. But it was a offshoot of the Mutant books. So Chris Claremont and I think Alan Davies is the other one. He was responsible for Excalibur, the superhero team. And so clandestines, it was actually clan destined, right? So it was a clan family destined. And so they were jinns, but they were also very very Anglo as opposed to the cast of characters we have in this, which is, it's fine. They want to do it that way. Which makes more sense given the jinn,
the history,
Muslim connection. I get that. It makes sense to me. So that's kind of where they came from. So that's the fact that they were descendants from jinn. That part is they have in common, but it was a little bit different in the comics. But not really sure about the Red Dagger thing. I'm sure there's also connections there as well that we don't know about.
Right, and don't know if it's with Ms. Marvel or with
Right.
another group,
Sure.
so, but I thought it was interesting.
Hmm.
Uh, we got some more good fights. Somehow the clandestines knew where the hideout was
Yeah.
somehow.
Well, I assume that they can sense the power of the Bengal, as that's how they tracked him to Karachi. That's my guess.
Well, I kind of almost had shades of James Bond when we had the chase scene.
Octopussy, yeah, it's the
Yes,
same
don't you
thing.
think the
Yeah,
same?
definitely.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, and I think
I
that was a good writing callback to the first episode where we have Kamala failing her driver's test, and she does the exact same thing in the car chase. She ends up backing up when she wants to go forward, and so I thought that was well written. I think.
Yes, definitely. And I thought the I think most of that had to be real action,
Most of it,
stunts.
I
What do you think?
I think the stunts themselves probably were. I can tell you that at the end, when the truck crashed and all the boxes spilled out, those boxes were totally CG, and I don't understand
Right.
why they did that. That looks so bad. So
Yes. Well,
everything else is looking good. It's just like there's these, one particular scene per episode where it just looks ridiculous and stupid.
and I think maybe they do that on purpose. I don't know.
No, I don't think they do it on purpose.
Like
I assume that they meant to do it practically and it didn't look good, so they wanted to fix it with CG. Problem is, they didn't spend enough time to make it look good in CG,
yes.
or I think they probably would have just been better without that. We didn't need to see all those boxes spilling all over the place. It would have been just fine watching the truck crash.
Right. So let me ask you this question. Do you think that they have already uh, they've already filmed all the episodes
Oh, sure, yeah,
and they're just showing them one at a time?
yeah.
You don't think it's like a TV show where they may be just a couple of episodes ahead and then they're filming the next episode?
Not for 6 episode seasons, I don't think. They probably just do it all at once and make it send it to post production after that. I don't really foresee that happening. If it was like a standard television show, like you said, like it's 23 episodes per season,
Yes.
that certainly would be the case. But I think it's all done at this point.
Okay. So technically, so what Disney is doing, putting them out one episode a week,
Yeah.
they're kind of just holding their audience captive then.
Yeah. Well, I think so. It's a different experience. Well, I think part of it is there's a different experience that you get watching it all at once versus watching it once a week, like a television show, like a regular television show. Um, I see the utility for both of those things. I think the idea, if I'm looking at it strictly from a business perspective, is that I would rather have users log in 6 different times to watch something as opposed to log in once and watch something, 6 times as long. Because then you are more likely to engage with the product more. And the other part of it that we haven't talked about is you can't pay for just 1 month and watch the whole thing. You have to pay for 2 months at least because it's 6 weeks long.
Yes. Yes. Well, that part of it is, on the business end of it is a good idea.
Yeah.
I can see that, but I don't know if seems like every show that they've had with the Marvel series, especially, we've basically had they've all been pretty much 6 episode things, right? Well, I think maybe What If was a little longer, maybe.
Yeah, I think What If was. I think you're right.
But I can't remember about WandaVision. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to find it on DVD, so I'm really not sure.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you could find out for me.
Yeah.
Just to see. But
yeah, WandaVision had 9 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so it was just Hawkeye and Falcon Winter Soldier and Miss Marvel that have been 6 episode things.
And Loki.
And Loki, yes, I'm sorry, and Loki.
Yeah.
Which
And
if
Moon
I'm not
Knight.
mistaken, yes, but Moon Knight is pretty forgettable at the moment, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe there'll be some clarity if it ever comes out on DVD. The chase scenes, the fights,
Yeah.
they were all done real, real well. And again, Najma, this time she stabs the Bengal.
Right.
At the very end of this episode.
Right.
And we get another train thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if this is a vision and she's in the middle of the vision, but it looks like she's at the trains when the partition was happening.
Yeah. My theory is that this is kind of like a time thing. So she gets sent back in time because of the, monkeying around they did with the Bengal. And, the story was at the beginning was that her great grandmother was saved miraculously during partition. I think Kamala is the one who's going to save her during partition.
Well, you know what? That would be pretty cool.
So that's my theory.
All right. Well, you know what? That sounds to me like something a good writer would write.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite possible.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
And then there would be, well, I don't know. They would kind of have to do it so that she wouldn't know that it was Kamala, so that
of course,
it wouldn't mess with the timeline.
Right.
But that would be an interesting write to see how they would do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's totally doable. One thing I really, really loved about this, especially towards the end, it kind of almost, it gives you a perspective historically if that's the way the partition really happened.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
No, well, I don't. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not super up to date in those things. I just know that there might be some revisionist history going on there. There's a lot of folks that do think the British as colonizers were a terrible thing and the worst thing to happen to that part of the world. I have friends that are from that area that actually thought that the British coming there was actually a good thing. So I think there is a diverse opinion around how that handled. I think the partition part was handled poorly, but I think it had to do with the religious differences between the two, because that's the other thing that we didn't mention yet, but that when we go to Karachi, up until then, Kamala's family and, her friends and her community there are speaking Urdu. And what we're seeing in Karachi actually is a lot more different languages, not just Urdu, but also Hindi. Like her grandmother speaks Hindi a lot. And so, trying to, help, tensions between cultures by partitioning off the land. I think that was the British, that was their solution to kind of fix it. But obviously, there's no real easy way to do that when the culture is not like, geographically simple. For instance, a great example would be kind of the similar situation that we're in the country today, where, I live in a state that's overall very conservative. But if you were to go to certain areas in the state, they're very progressive. And if we were to try to separate that, it would not be very clean. It wouldn't be a clean separation. So, I'm guessing that that's kind of what the situation was. Maybe I'll, do a little bit of research when we wrap up the series to kind of, talk a little bit more about that. But that's my thoughts around
yes. it's kind of really strange the way it is. You got Pakistan here, and then all the way on the other side
Yeah.
of India, you got Pakistan there, you
Yeah.
know?
Right.
And I'm just wondering if my state of Florida is a little bit more defined with our
Yeah.
progressive areas.
Sure. Well, I don't know, because like if you were to go to like obviously where we grew up, very, very, leftist, the bluest of blue, in Broward County.
Yes, yes.
But if you were, I think, just to go over to, Naples, it's probably a lot bit different over there, which is not too far away from Broward County.
Couple hours,
Right.
you know. But also West Palm
Right.
is totally blue, and probably South Florida and Miami, maybe you would think.
It depends, culturally
There's
speaking.
probably areas of both there, I would imagine.
Well, the thing is that the Cuban population, we have family from that, from that community. They're not, they don't want anything to do with communism, right? That's what they left, right? And so they're very
Correct.
anti-communist.
Yes,
so
that's true.
the funny thing is, like, you would think that, so that's, interesting.
That might be interesting, but I think still a little bit more definitive in my state than yours.
Possibly.
A couple hours away, if you don't like it, get out of here.
Right.
Wow. So not sure that they took a liberal license with their depiction of the partition.
Well, I'm sure that there is a general consensus around that, maybe.
Yes.
Or, it could just be, depending on what side you were on. It's like all historical things, it's always a mixed bag. There's good things, there's bad things. And for one person to take a totalizing view one way or the other is, I think, wrong. I think you need to have a level headed view around those things. And, I think you could easily err on making superheroes, out of people who shouldn't be. And then you could also err on the side of they were all terrible people that needed to be, locked away and forgotten about. I think there's
right.
I think both of those extremes are incorrect.
Right. Well, it's, like they always say, there's always three sides to an argument.
I guess I think it's actually way more than that, but
well, you know what I'm saying. There's probably,
I get it.
There's one person's point of view and then the other person's point of view, and there's the truth somewhere in between that.
Well, it might be, it might not be. One person could be completely delusional, and their perspective is not valid.
Okay. All right. Well, we can agree to disagree, or we can agree to agree.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. And I guess
so what
is individual, right?
Well, it's not that. It's like, if there's something you and I could both, like, if you and I have a different opinion on something, or a different
point of view.
Sure. Yeah. You could be right. I could be right. Or neither of us could be right. But one thing that can happen is we can't both be right.
That's true. That's true. I mean, only if we agreed.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. When there's a disagreement.
Yes. When there's a disagreement, you're right.
Yeah.
So every time Najma touches the bangle, whether it's physically or this time, like I said, she accidentally stabs it with her knife. But it's like when the two of them come in contact, we're getting this connection, which it's probably good for Kamala not to be anywhere near Najma, because that seems like the bad thing to do.
Yep.
Now, we also got in this when they broke out. I neglected to mention that they broke out of the DODC,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And they left. She left her son,
Mm-hmm.
saying he made his choice.
Right.
Now, is that like could that be like a cultural thing? That if you don't agree with the family, that they're that you're the black sheep of the family or whatever, something like
I think
that.
it happened to any family.
Is that something? Yeah, I guess it could. You're right. But he all of a sudden was like gone out of the picture, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're going to see him. We got 2 more episodes, correct?
Yeah.
So are we going to see him again, you know? Or I just don't know. I kind of hoping that it turns out the way you said, that Kamala gets to save Ernani, you know? I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
So far you're feeling pretty positive about the show?
Yeah, it's still a good show.
Yeah. And still much better than Moon Knight.
Much better.
Good. Okay, so next week, think we'll probably be taking a break.
Yeah.
From
next week that we have the release of Thor: Love and Thunder, so we'll talk about that, and then maybe a week after we'll do a wrap up of this show. We'll lump in episodes 5 and 6, I guess, maybe. You know,
we could
so
you know, and finish it up, but
right.
You'll have to do some homework. Like I said, you said you wanted to, if we're gonna wrap it up, then you'll have to do this research. So that'd be cool.
Sure.
That'll be great. So I know you're not really all excited about Love and Thunder.
Right.
But you could change your mind, right?
Of course.
It's possible.
Of course.
Right. And you're hoping that it doesn't go down the multiverse of madness rabbit hole. Correct? Or
no? I don't care about the multiverse of madness.
No, I'm just saying you don't want it to go down that same type of rabbit hole, right? Or do you think it will?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Okay, well, we'll discuss it next week with our first impressions.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, it's fine.
Excellent. All right, well then, let's wrap it up then.
Okay. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next week with our first impressions of Thor: Love and Thunder. And until then, goodbye and God bless.
Goodbye. God bless. Tell your friends.